Just judging by the title of this video, you probably already know this isn't going to be a great, fun video. Heading into August of 2019, things were going really well with the WRX. We had a few great double-header autocross weekends that we did well at, although at one of them I pushed the hot tires hard enough to do this to them and then get caught in the worst rainstorm I've ever driven in on the way home, so that was a little unnerving. This footage is actually as the storm system's moving away from us, since that's when I stopped to set up my cell phone and talk to Hope to make sure she was still good to drive in the Land Cruiser. But once we got home, I started prepping for my first real track day. I had a whole video planned showing how I prepped for and enjoyed my first day driving at VIR in Danville, Virginia, because it's always been a dream of mine to drive on, well, any track, and especially that one because it's only a couple hours away from me and it's very famous, so very excited to go drive there. But in retrospect, I made a big mistake because I only filmed the parade lap at the beginning of warm-ups when everyone's going like 40 miles an hour. I told myself that I should save my batteries for after warm-ups and the real hot runs began on the Patriot course, which is what we were running on. So this footage of the parade lap and then this cell phone footage of a warm-up run are all I've got. About 9 warm-up runs in, I was starting to lower my time and get comfortable with the track. Unfortunately, when I pulled into the pits, the WRX shut off. After some fellow drivers helped bump start me, I heard the dreaded clattering noise that every WRX driver fears. The engine had spun a rod bearing. Fortunately, Hope came with me to this track day even though she wasn't driving, so after a few hours of tracking down an available car trailer, we loaded Cherry Bomb up and the Land Cruiser pulled her home. You can see how badly the truck is squatting, and that's with the car loaded backwards to transfer more weight to the back. The Land Cruiser also doesn't have a brake controller, so it was a very long, intense drive home. I didn't film any shots of the car running with the rod bearings, making all the noise, just because there were other things on my mind at the time, had a lot to handle in a very short amount of time, and just didn't want to fool with it. So, sorry, that doesn't really make for a very good vlog, but I'm sure you understand I had bigger concerns. So, some of you are probably going to swear we had this same conversation like a year and a half ago. Not even a year and a half ago, a year and 3 months ago when the Spider was wrecked. And we kind of did, but here's why I'm not keeping the WRX, or at this point it's long gone. So here's why I didn't keep it. A couple different reasons. First one being, it turns out I wasn't all that passionate about the platform. Now, bug-eye WRXs have always been the car I've liked. It's a car that's on my list of cars that I want to own one day. I'm sure a lot of you probably have one, and maybe I should make a video sometime talking about the cars that are on mine. But the WRX Bug-Eye was always on that list, so I always knew that one day I would try to own one. And I think still, if the right blue WRX wagon came along, I would probably own another one, because I still do like them. I've had an Impreza Outback Sport before this. Other people in my family have had Subarus. We like Subarus, so I wouldn't pass up the chance to own one again. But for this one, it really is like a economy car with a big motor, and I know a lot of them haven't really gotten any better than that. But for me, after putting that much money into it, I think total I was about $7.5 grand into this one. And some of that was stuff I didn't have to do. I like maintaining things as well as I can. So I spent a decent amount of money fixing things that didn't really need to be fixed. And then also just getting the rest of it up to snuff. So for a car, for me to put that much money into it just for racing, or even just casually driving around, it needs to be good. It needs to be really good. And the sound was good. The looks were good. I think boxer motors have a lot of character. I think the WRX has a lot of character. But it's an old car. And I think reality is most modern cars would crap all over it. Like compared to the GTI, the WRX on paper is quicker and certainly has more potential, and is all-wheel drive. Actually, I wouldn't say certainly it has more potential. The GTI probably has more potential for tuning the E88 motor, E888, EA888 motor? I don't know how people are saying that online. But the GTI felt much quicker. The handling was much better. It's a much newer car. Like, it's not a fair comparison, but the WRX feels like driving an economy car from the early 2000s that has a moderate amount of power. The steering kind of sucks. You can't fit much tire underneath it without extensive modifications. The suspension setup's not very good. Like, I get why people like them, and I still say I like WRXs, I like Subarus. It's not about that at all. But for racing, it's just not a platform I'm passionate about, and I don't want to spend thousands of dollars more becoming passionate about it or trying to make myself passionate about it. Like, if you took that same car and gave it 350 horsepower, I don't think I'd like it significantly more than I did. It would just have more power. So the second reason is the cost. If I did a really, really cheap, just find a new motor or a used motor that I can swap everything off of, it could probably be done for like $1,200 to $1,500, not counting like my time. But I'm not going to do it that way, like a lot of you wouldn't. I'm going to do a lot of while you're in there stuff. You know, I'd want to replace seals, update water pumps and timing belt, and get a good quality motor, you know, replace all the little things that'll probably go wrong at some point. And by the time I do all of that, and then do mods to make the car not have oil starvation again, so like a baffled oil pan, killer bee oil pickup, you know, do some stuff like that, this could easily be $2,500 to $3,000 just in parts to do this, not counting my time. And then I'm left with a car that's just like the car I had before it popped the motor, and it's not really any more powerful. And if I go with those mods for autocross, I'm going to be bumped way up in classes. And if I'm way up in classes, I'm going to need fatter tires. I'm going to need to roll the fenders. I'm going to need to get better seats. You know, it's like a war of escalation that just keeps going. And I'm not passionate enough about this platform to do all of that to it, because I still don't think I would love it at the end of the day. So it was a hard decision for me, believe me. It hasn't been that much fun going through like 3 cars in less than a year. I kind of wish I hadn't, but you learn. I mean, the Spider, I didn't really want to go through that one in the first place, or I didn't want to lose that one. The Miata, it made sense. It was just an unfortunate learning experience. And then the WRX, I did plan on keeping for longer. Like, I'm saying all these things to make it sound like it was bad. It wasn't. We were having a really good time autocrossing it. I actually won my class this year. I won G Street, even though I stopped being able to compete in August. I had enough points that I was able to just barely get the win. But the other guy in that class was in second place. He would definitely beat me next year if he came to every event. He's better than I am, and he's driving a GTI like my daily driver. So much more capable car, much more capable driver. I definitely wouldn't have won. But it was a lot of fun this year. Well, in 2019, I guess we're in 2020 now. And I would happily own another one, but for racing, I'm moving on to something else, which I've already bought and I've already had for a little while. And you'll be seeing videos on it coming out soon. I just haven't done anything with it really publicly yet. So unlike this car, what I'm doing differently with the new car is I'm going to not post videos of it until I'm driving it and it's out on the road and everything, because I don't want to take you through another like 7-part build series getting the car up to snuff only to post 3 autocross videos and then something happen. So I'm going to get it on the road, start driving it, then start making videos and show you guys the process of getting it on the road. Then everything will be cool. And I hope you guys like it. It's another car that's on my list that I've wanted for a long time. And you know, I'll post an exhaust clip right now. See if you can guess what this is. Throw your guess down in the comments. I won't tell you if you're right, but you'll figure it out. It's probably not that hard to figure out if you own one of these cars. You will probably recognize it. But it's another car I've been excited to own for a while. A good deal came up on one and I moved on. And the WRX's new owner already has a new motor in it at the time of this filming, and it's back on the road. They're enjoying it. That also made me feel good about the decision, because I sold it to somebody who, she's wanted a bug-eyed WRX just like me, and she's wanted one as a project car to work on. I think she said with her dad. So for her, this was like, it was perfect. Here's a WRX with new suspension, all the fluids, like new headlights, tons of maintenance work, all the stuff I did to it that you guys saw. And all that's wrong with it is the motor, the part that I didn't really touch. So she gets a new motor in. She's got a really nice, good condition bug-eye. So I hope she enjoys it. I hope she has a great time. I'm already enjoying my new car, and I'm really looking forward to this next season. So sorry for all the jumping around with cars. Hopefully this next one sticks for a while. Throw your guess what it is down in the comments, and I'll see you for the next project.